Hello, and welcome to Best WP7 Games. Today we're taking a look at last week's Xbox Live title, the Microsoft Studios released and Uber Geek Games made, BulletAsylum. Now, BulletAsylum is a shoot 'em up of sorts, with some inspiration from Missile Command and Games of its Ilk, as we'll see in a second. I'll just put you into the I guess what I'd call the default mode for this. I suppose it's just the first on the list. It doesn't necessarily make it default. It's certainly my favourite mode, which is arcade. And I'll give you an idea of how this game works. So you can see I've got these two little turrets and that thing in the middle, which is a city. And as I tap, my turrets fire in the direction of the... you can see that little targeting reticule that appears near my thumb. Now, problem is, if there's loads of enemies around, you need to fire with both sets of turrets. So if you use two fingers, or two thumbs rather, you actually separate your fire, which is an important tactic. So I'll just finish off this wave of enemies. And you'll see as, depending on the order I release my fingers, or rather add my fingers, it changes whether the fire is crossed through the middle, or whether the it defines which thumb controls which set of turrets. So you can see also between waves you gradually increase the amount of turrets you have. And start the game with just these light gun turrets, and the little cities generate shields. Unlike Missile Command, if you lose a city, it's not actually the end of the game. It's only the end when you lose all of your defences. So in this mode, at least, cities are just another tool in your arsenal. And those shields can come in very handy. Now, one other thing you may notice is that bar on the top right is just filled to overdrive. This is filled by destroying enemies. At the moment, I'm just using a defensive screen of fire. However, you can activate your overdrive by using three fingers and swiping up like that, which is very handy for clearing a screen. Downside being, of course, that you have to let go of your shooting for a second in order to launch it, so there is a bit of risk in using it. And obviously you always need it charged up, you can't just fire it willy-nilly. However, it's also worth noting that what you're seeing here are some heavily upgraded guns and shields, and even the overdrive has been upgraded a bit. Obviously also not seeing the later weapons, you don't just have light guns, you do get lasers and heavy cannon of some description. Well, there's a heavy cannon now in fact. But I'm just going to quit and cash out. You can save and quit at any time, it'll let me come back to it, but I've got to quit and cash out, which means that I get my points and I get my upgrade credits, which you use for upgrading your weapon. So you can see I've already maxed out quite a few there. And I don't actually have enough to upgrade anything new. But if I did, it gives you information about what your upgrade will do, and would let me buy it normally. So yeah, it adds a nice little compelling element to the game. Obviously the more successful you are in through the arcade mode, or through any of the modes, the more credits you earn, allowing you to then upgrade even faster. You can also buy modifiers, but I won't go into those, but those are little things which allow you to slow down the game or speed it up. Again, nice touch. Now this is survival mode, and this should give you an idea of the scale the game gets to. Towards the end of arcade mode, assuming you haven't lost all of your defences, the game gradually pulls back. The camera actually pulls out as you get more and more weapons and more enemies appear. And as you'll notice, this runs absolutely perfectly, even with this many enemies and bullets on screen. It's a very well optimised game. I've been very impressed by the performance of it. So yeah, survival mode, I say, is not my favourite mode. I do prefer arcade mode, and I think architect mode is more interesting, but if you want to know more about architect mode, you have to read my review, so I don't really have time to show that mode as well. But survival mode is good for training yourself, to get used to how to use your weapons. But yes, this is BulletAsylum. It's available now for £2.29, I believe, on the marketplace. It's an Xbox Live title, so it has achievements. It's really well polished, and I've got to say I think it's really worth it. It's a good fun shoot 'em up.